Well, I made it to Vancouver. I just got in my taxi and I'm gonna head over to the suite that I booked and decide what I'm doing from there. So vegetation here. Like, look at these little cute bushes. I don't know why I find them like so unbelievably adorable, but like, how come Alberta can't grow those? We get enough fucking rain. Like, look at these cute trees. Hi guys, so I am walking towards the ocean right now. It took me about an hour to make my way to where the trail is, and I'm gonna take a trail like right down actually to the ocean. But like, look at this. I love that. The growth up the tree. It's so, if I didn't have children, I might not ever come back to Hinton, Alberta. Like, ever. Oh, look at it. That's where I'm going. Towards the ocean right there. So exciting. Wish my twin was with me though, because I've already seen a whole bunch of shit that we could do together. It'd be super fun and we'd just be laughing, but one of these days, I'm scared it's gonna attack me. It's probably because I was just sitting over here centering with myself. I started to feel like huge amounts of presences and like a bunch of energy. Like, my body is actually vibrating right now. But then something told me, watch out for something, and then I was like, what, is there actually something to be scared of? And then they said no, just be on alert. And then I look around and I'm just sitting on this log, so yeah, no, it's not too far. And give you guys the rundown on my day. Wow. So my phone died like right after I made that last video, like around 11 a.m. I have been on the most synchronistic adventure ever. And of course my phone died, but had my phone not had died, I would not have caught on to all the synchronicities that led up to my very crazy, magical, beautiful day. I already got offered energy work, like a spot to practice if I decide to move here. Like, not even kidding. In this place that I just randomly rounded up, that I'm going back to meditate with them and do drum practice here at 7 p.m. downtown Vancouver. I'm just... Why? Because I met with some other psychics and energy workers today in Vancouver. Wow. Just wow. To tell you guys about how I got there first. So I got into Vancouver this morning and I go outside the train station to get into taxis, and there's a bunch of people in a line, right? And there's a bunch of taxis, so I wait and I get into the one, and then I get in and I realize that I'm in cab 944 and I'm thinking, you know, like, oh, 44, one of my numbers, whatever. As we're driving to get to here, the suite here, I caught notice of a building or a store that was called Aphrodite's, and I chuckled, like, Aphrodite, and I was like, oh, and I looked and I see like some gifty, like crystally looking, I was like, I think I want to check out that place. So I started to look around to see like what block am I on, right? Like, where the fuck am I, so I could get to remember to like how I get back there. And so while I'm looking, we're driving, right? We're not stopped. I barely even caught notice until after that out of my peripherals, I seen a sign on the sidewalk that had said something about readings. It was really small, but I caught on to it a couple seconds after. And I was like, oh, I didn't think too much of it, but I was like, oh cool. Get here, across the street, building number is 5955. I'm like, well, 944 to 955, that's kind of cool. I couldn't get checked in. Drop off my bags here though. They have like a baggage service thing, so like you can leave your bags here, and I'm on the university campus. So I just start walking. Don't know where I'm going, what I'm doing. This is following the soul, right? So I just start walking, and I'm smiling at strangers. Not kidding. So like a couple people like laughed at me, like, and sneered at me, like, what the fuck's that fucking chick on, right? But like quite a few people, I like made their day. Like, not being conceited, like these people were like, oh, like, thank you, and smiled back at me, you know what I mean? And I, what? I love this. Like, I don't even care in how small of a way it seems. Like, kindness is kindness, true kindness and true care, and my light does really shine to other people, and it's beautiful. But yeah, anyway, so I'm walking through the campus, smiling at people like a freaking weirdo, just in a good mood, not knowing where I'm going, what I'm doing, and it's raining, and I don't even care. I'm just trekking through. Well, then I get to the university bus depot, like the transit. They have their own little station because it's quite busy down here. Like, it's like a city over here. It's like its own city, University Hill. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I guess I have 3 or 4 hours to kill. I was like, I'll go downtown or something. So I was like, well, I'll just Google Maps mall. I'm like, I always like stuff. Let's just go check out some stuff. And so I Googled this mall. Cool, what's this mall? So I hit the directions thing for city transit. And the first thing that pops up is bus 44. Take me right there. I'm like, oh, cool. I look up. I'm standing right underneath the bus 44, so I'm like, perfect. And right to the side of that is the phone number to the bus place, and it's like 1-866-222-2222. Like all two. So like all I can see is 44-22-22-22-22. And I'm like, cool. Just start taking that bus to go to this mall. Well, little did I know, out of all the places in Vancouver and everything, I just happened to start taking the exact same street that the cab driver took to get me here from the train station, which isn't by the mall. The train station's not by the mall, but obviously not in the area at first. So I go and I'm like, oh, this is where that Aphrodite store is. I'm like, I'm almost gonna drive right by. Maybe I should get off here, go check it out. So I think about it for a sec. Nope, I'm not supposed to. Okay, I'm supposed to keep going. And, but so I'm looking out, and then as I'm like, is this the right thing? And I'm turning to look on this side of the bus to see if I can see like what blocks. I remembered it was like the 3500s. So I'm trying to look for one of the building numbers to remember where it was. And I, see the reading sign. And I'm like, oh, that did say readings. And so my soul, my higher self tells me we're gonna stop on the way back. I'm like, sweet, I'm gonna stop on the way back. And then my phone died. And then so I get down to this mall, and it is a mall. It's like underground and shit. But I run into Holt Renfrew, and I got like lost a little bit, but I found my way back out. And I found my way back in to the mall. And then I seen a security guy, and he kind of like waved at me, and I was like, hey, so can you recommend a restaurant here in the mall? It's like, because I wanted to sit and charge my phone, so I thought. And I was like, where I can like sit, like not the food court though, like just any restaurant that I can go. And he's like, I don't think there are any. He's like, I think you have to like go out of the mall and go like so many blocks this way. And I'm just like thinking, I'm like a little bit like, maybe this guy doesn't know what he's talking. And then he even tells me, he's like, I'm from Surrey, so I don't really know. And I'm like, isn't that like not even far? But apparently it's like a world away to these people that don't really leave their own like metro areas or whatever. So he's like, well, actually, you know, I can show you to this exit and then just go like 2 blocks and there's like all these places. And so I was like, okay. And then I'm trying to ditch him. He's like walking with me to escort me to the store, like through this huge mall. And I'm like just chatting with the guy. I'm like, oh, I think I might just look at some stuff anyway, like before I go out. And he's like, well, I'll just ask us to get services. And I'm like, okay, sure. I'm on board with that. And so then we go up, and then I tell them what I want. It's like, well, I just want to eat something. And the guy's like, oh, well, you need to go to Cafe Verde in Nordstrom's. Just go in Nordstrom's and take the elevator to the top. I'm like, okay. So I take the elevator and I go into this Cafe Verde, and I should have known that it was an Italian place. Yay. But it didn't clue it at first, and I just like go in, and I get sad, and I got this waiter named Victor. He was pretty sweet, and it was like towards the end, I said to him, I said, so yeah, I said, I'm just visiting in Vancouver for like a day or two, whatever, however I feel. I said, if you were to recommend like your favorite thing to do for tourists, you know, like what would it be? Where would you recommend? And he's like trying to feel me out, right? And he's like, well, what do you like? He's like the aquarium's pretty cool. And then he's like, do you like magic mushrooms? And I can't remember, I don't know what nationality he was. He wasn't Italian, but he wasn't Victor. I don't know what he was, but and I was like, I've been there before. I've been to shrooms before. And I was like, why? I was like, oh yeah, you can just buy it here. He's like, yeah, it's kind of like a gray market. And I was like, oh. And he's like, and then you can just like go by the ocean. And I was like, I'm thinking, I would so do that, but like I am alone, so I don't think that I should take random mushrooms from a stranger and go to the ocean. So I didn't do like ask him any more about that. But then I told him that I was an energy worker and why I was here. I said, I'm just following my soul. And he goes, really? He's like, hey, that's so cool. He's like, because I'm like just, and then he like, you can tell he's not confident, right? And he backs up. He's like, I'm just like starting. I'm doing like some Reiki energy training. He's like, and I'm like doing this stuff. He's like, I'm really like, I didn't know he was talking about it. And I was like, that's so awesome. And then he's like, but like, I don't know what it's gonna, and then I just like, I'm like, can I just stop you? And not like I was gonna not stop him. Sorry, it's who I am. And I was like, don't talk like that. I said, of course you are. I said, I can sense it in the way that you're saying it to me. I said, so if you understand energy work, I said, you understand the power of your own words and your own intentions. I said, so you are going to do it. It's going to be easy. It's going to be like amazing. I was like, and you're going to help so many people in the world. And he almost fucking cried with me. We like had this huge moment. It was beautiful. And I was like, oh, that's why I was like in here to have lunch. Perfect. It's so cool. Well, because I'm having such a good time in there just being a light worker, never even charged my phone after I just walked through the mall and also had bought a charger so I could charge it. After, when I went to leave here, my brain said, grab your charger. And then I was like, nah. Well, it's good because if my phone wasn't dead, I wouldn't have done all these things. But anyway, so then I go out and I was like, okay, I have to get back. Obviously, I'm not going to forget that I need to take bus 44. I made that pretty easy for me to remember. So like, well, I need to find a bus stop for bus 44. And I was like, I think it was called like Bedard Street or Burrard Street. Thankfully, I pay attention to all my surroundings most of the time. And so I'm walking and I know I'm in the right direction, but I did have to take like a kind of a curve. And so I'm like, shit, should I be going to the east? Like, should I be taking a right here? Or sorry, yeah. Or going straight. And there was this construction worker, so I asked the guy, I stopped the guy, and I was like, hey, is this the way to Bernard Street? And he was like, looks at me, he's like, Bernard Street. Like, he didn't know where the fuck I was talking about. And then the guy behind him, he's like, yeah, no, just keep going. I was like, okay, thanks. It was only 2 blocks up. Like, these people don't know where they live. It's weird. But, so, find the 44 bus stop, which just happens to be right in front of the Fairmont McDonald in downtown Vancouver hotel. And then I'm sitting there in the bus stop on this little Asian girl stands next to me and I'm having a smoke. And then I hear and feel the vibrations of a low hertz, like sound bath or solfeggio frequency. Not kidding, like being broadcasted loudly, and it's quite soothing. And I look around and I'm like, everybody is so chill here. I'm like, that's weird. So then I look at the girl beside me, I'm like, do you know where that sound is coming from? And she goes, the sirens? Because there's like an album. I'm like, no, do you hear that? And she's like, oh yeah, I never noticed that before. And I was like, it's like being broadcasted like in the air. I'm like, and so I'm like, is that what it is? So I like listen again. And oh yeah, I know what it is. And I'm like, that's exactly what that is. I'm like, what genius is like broadcasting like relaxing sound bath meditation and stuff? Oh, whoa, that's so neat. And then my soul's like, my higher self's kind of like, yeah, like pay attention, Erica. That's why you're here, pay attention. So I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Whenever I get on the bus, forgot all about that I was going to stop, right? And then I get close to the area and I was like, oh, that Aphrodite's place. And I was like, oh yeah. And then I'm like, okay, is this the area? And I'm like hesitating to pull the bell on the bus. And then somebody behind me pulls it. And then I get the inkling, get off the bus, Erica. So I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I'm supposed to get off the bus. Following the soul. This is my fool's journey, right? I'm not second guessing my decisions. Get off the bus. I'm like, oh yeah, right after I get off the bus stop is right across from the reading sign. I'm like, oh yeah. I never went to the Aphrodite's place, so I walk into the reading store. That's where I was supposed to be, for sure. My soul totally led me there. No phone, no nothing. I'm just following, totally just getting around all by myself, no phone, in Vancouver, following my soul. Actually worked. And then I go into this place and I start talking. I says, oh, I was just here. I said, I've seen the sign for readings. I'm just wondering what that's all about. And the lady comes up to me and she like looks me in the eyes and she's like, oh, your eyes are gorgeous. And sure, she was really older, but she had beautiful eyes too. And I was like, so are yours. And then she's like, so I have various readers in here. She's like, today it's Kathleen. And she's like, she works a lot with archangels. She's like, in other realms. She works a lot with like helping you discover your soul's purpose. And if you're on the right purpose, well, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm like, I could do some confirmation because all the people that I talk to are either online or, you know, spiritual guidance and such. Which I know that's why I stand by my stuff so strongly. I know it's all right, but so it's like, it would be nice to do it because I have been getting messages through my cards and such that I should seek a like-minded community or mentors, etc. And so then I was talking to Francesca, and she's the one that owns the shop, and she's telling me all about how she started it. She's only been doing that for a year. She actually got the location from her mom, who had a shop there forever, and then she rented it out to friends who started a clothing business. But then COVID hit, and they couldn't even make it work, so she let them out of their lease. And she's like, I have a lot of friends that are intuitives or like artsy people who make a lot of like jewelry and like handmade clothing and stuff. She's like, so I started this store space, right? So like various healers, various readers come in, you know, on their certain days of the week and do stuff there. And I was like, oh, that's so awesome. I was like, I love that idea. I was like, you know, just like the community mindset. It's kind of like community, you know, like shop sort of thing. And I just really loved it. And so I was like, yeah, no, I definitely want to talk to Kathleen. And then I meet Kathleen. And yeah, no, she's real, like all the same path as me. So like, she's very tapped in with the archangel. She says that she knows like about hundreds of past lives of hers. And I was like, what? I'm like, we can live that many times. She's like, on earth we could have incarnated so many times. I was like, weird. I'm like, because like, I know. I was like, I've seen me and my twin flame. I'm like in like probably 3 or 4 different past lives now. I was like, but like, there could be that many. She's like, there could be. She's like, you never know. And then she was telling me all like about physical pain, which I already know like all about that, but yeah, no, it was just so sweet. And then she was holding this class tonight, and I was like, okay, I'll absolutely come back for that. And so then I went back tonight for that meditation and like a channeling session, like we read cards together. And then yeah, there was this young girl, and it was like I was helping her probably even maybe more than Kathleen a little bit was, to be honest. And she was asking me so many questions, and I had my own cards, and Kathleen was like, oh, absolutely, Erica, because like she sent my gifts right away. Like she read for me, and she straight up told me that my guides were proud of me, that I am 100% on the right path. Like I have learned so many, like she just told me so much amazing shit, I almost cried. Like she hugged me when she just drove me home. But yeah, and then like I really helped this young chick, this young divine feminine. She's rocking it. She's just rocking it. And then yeah, no, Kathleen drove me home and she told me all about her life, like, you know, the things that she's done. And she just looked at me and she's like, you brave, beautiful soul. And she just hugged me. And like, yeah, it was amazing. And I told her if I'm here next Thursday, if it tends to work out that way, that I would go in and see her. But I do have her email and stuff. But yeah, quite synchronistic. Like just really, I was here on a soul discovery. I am here, and this is my technically like first actual day. You know, it's the second day of my journey. First was travel, and I was definitely led into at least the confirmation that I am 100% on the right path. I'm meant to help a shit ton of people, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it in my day-to-day already. It's amazing. It's so purposeful, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so fulfilling to just feel so comfortable in knowing who I am, even with everybody else not getting it yet. You know, that in my old life or whatever I'm gonna call it now. I don't even know.